Hey, good morning, folks. Matthew Boxler here. How you all be? Just doing a little Facebook this morning. I was looking at the energies of question and choice, and how these two qualities can actually open up the world for you, and what else is possible for all the folks out there that perhaps haven't used these to the depth of possibility they can create for you. Um, so if you're one of those hyper creative personalities, hey everybody, yay, here comes everybody on. How fun is that? Lucky me, ask a question, choose to do an FB Live, and a whole bunch of people show up. Go figure. So I'm going to start right there. That's the example. I didn't really have um, I didn't have like a defined clarity with me this morning, and I was like, oh, what's the question here? And the first thing popped up, and it's like, what would it create if I did a Facebook Live and talked to the rest of the world of consciousness, you guys, you guys, about what these things are and what they can create? Because it's truly when we all acknowledge the energy that happens when you ask a question and you choose something that creates more for everyone. And it starts with me. I'm going to use me as an example, because when I ask a question and then choose something, regardless of all the things coming up in my head about how it could work or not, something else is created. New doors are open, not only for me, but if you can imagine yourself in a room, in a house, and all of a sudden you swing open a whole bunch of doors, are other people in the house going to know those doors and windows are open too? So you always create for everyone. It was like, I'm looking at another example is looking at the possibilities. Hello, Yogesh and Solange and Israel. And wow, there's tons of people on here. How cool is that? Thank you all for being on. Thank you all for being on. So appreciate you all for being in the energy of question. But I was looking at my future classes, and I've got this one class, a 4-day foundation class, and I'm doing it in New York. And the energy around it as I chose it was like, oh, should I do this? Yes. And then I chose it, and then it went flunk, sort of thing, and it changed. And it's that point when that wonky, twisty thing goes chunk, that's actually a possibility showing up that wasn't there until you chose it. So what if there's nothing wrong with that when you choose those kind of things? And how many places in your life is that going on for you, where you choose something and it goes twink, and then you're like, okay, I'm going to unchoose it? Well, the energies of choice come from consciousness, and consciousness includes everything. And when you're including everything, that means all the things you may have decided to be ugly and, not correct for you are going to show up too, so that they can create more awareness for you with your questions. So like, whereas I was looking at it, and Sarah Stabler, this last event I'm talking about for New York, Sarah Stabler's the host, and we chose it and started putting it together, and all the logistics fell into place. All the little pegs went in the holes, and it was like boom, 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 quick, quick, quick. But then it seemed like the energy just went, it stopped. And so that's the place where you start and ask another question. And so we were like, oh, great, let's see what else is going on. And that in itself created some more possibilities, just asking what else is possible beyond this creation that I've decided is perhaps the totality of my immediate future. So all the places where you're looking to create one thing that defines all the rest of your future choices, what would it create if you destroyed, not created that? Yeah, it can be edgy. It'll be wonky. The wonky is the contribution. It's not something you need to fix. Okay, so everything that brings up, would you be willing to destroy and uncreate times Godzillion? Good, bad, right or wrong, POC and POD, all 9 shorts, boys and guns. Hi, everybody. Nikki. Beer good. Hey everybody, hey everybody. And Marguerite Corbett, I will host you now. Okay, cool. So I just added another question and boom. Literally, did you guys get that? Somebody in, I believe South Africa is like, great, let's do more. Because I'm speaking to the energies that will open the doors to other people. So would you be willing to start talking to the energy in your question? Let's all do an example, okay? I love examples. I'm such a mental person. So much of our creation is up here in our coconut, right? How do you like that? Coconut, stretched coconut. I'm feeling a little weird at the moment. So acknowledge the energy of a question you've got going in your world. Okay? Whatever it is. Like, what's it going to take? Maybe it's about money or travel or whatever it is. Okay? And now would you ask what else is possible with this? And expand out. Farther, 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 farther. How much farther can you expand out? Expand out to somebody that's fun in your world that just always makes you go, ah, okay. And then can you keep rolling and expand past them? And then take that expansion and expand in all directions at the same time. Right? That's kind of weird. But you can do it if you try, believe me. But don't believe me. Don't try it. All you hyper creatives who only do the opposite of what someone else will say. Use it to your advantage. Okay? Find some people that'll tell you you can't do things. Okay. Continuing to expand and expand and expand and expand and expand, soften and open outwards and space in. Can you allow the space of you to start bridging the gap between you as a being and a body? Are you absolutely pissed off past all possibility that your being and your body can't be the same thing? It's just like huge fucking mental conundrum and conflict inside. Are you ready to stop that? Okay, great. Let's ask another question. What would it take to stop that? This is another great question. So I'm asking the question, what's it going to create to stop something? Okay. Now, acknowledge the energies that are beyond the what's it going to create to stop this. Okay. Is there a whole bunch of new start energies that come up for you? Or maybe just one. And a start energy is anything that's light. It's different. It's uncomfortable. It's new. Okay. And this is where you come into choice. Now, if you choose it, that is perhaps one of the biggest thing that a lot of us may stumble around. If you choose it, it'll actually actualize it. And actualize means what? To bring it into this reality. To bring it into this reality. Okay? Are you willing to bring things into this reality that haven't existed before? Because how much of an incredibly creative and dynamic person are you that you're ignoring? Because perhaps maybe you're trying to fit into this reality. Yeah. So everything that doesn't allow you to acknowledge what's true about that for you, about being a dynamic, creative personality, would you destroy and uncreate times Godzilla. Good, bad, right, or wrong, pot on pot, all nine shorts, boys and girls. I'm talking with another friend, another good example, and she's got this tremendous capacity to just like a really kind invitation to everyone. And one of her family members says, hey, and her question is, what's it going to take for me to have the money and the space to have everything I need and not have to live with a bunch of crazy people? And I was like, okay, cool. And one of her family members says, hey, I'd be happy to give you all the family product that we usually sell through our regular channels. If you want to go take it and do it in, the electronic media, Amazon, eBay, or whatever, because her family's not really keen on that. They're a little bit more old school. And she's like, wow. And the energy, when I heard that question from her other family member, was like, can you get the energy? It's just like way out there. Tons of expansive possibilities, because it'd be something different. Now, if you choose that, that's what actualizes, folks, the different possibilities. So would you be willing to start choosing things just to see what happens so you can know what you know. Because is this reality ever going to validate that you're a super choosy person? Or maybe you're a choosy bitch, nothing wrong with that either. Or a choosy asshole, or an arrogant honky mofo, whatever it is, whatever the definitions you have. Would you be willing to start exercising your right to choose? Yeah. How's that land for you? Yeah. Everything that doesn't allow that, will you destroy and uncreate times it got to it. Good, bad, right or wrong, pock and pot all night, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Ooh, well, we have all kinds of new people on here. Thank you all for being on. So, what is the question that you're asking for that you're trying to get? You're trying to get an answer for, perhaps. What is it? I'm happy to hear some of your and inviting you to text me some of your questions. Happy to facilitate here with this. While I'm waiting for some of those for that question of what is it that you're asking over and over and over. I'm going to talk about some other stuff. So I just signed up for Costa Rica facilitators. And when I did it, there was a tremendous, once again, interesting, wonky, twisty, expansive energy. It's like a whole bunch of different possibilities came to order. Yay, more hearts, more thumbs. I like thumbs. I have two. My screen's backwards. Okay, there we go. Okay, good. And a whole bunch of energy started to pop. Gabrielle Green, he says clarity. Cool. We'll talk to that in just a second. Clarity. And all these things started to pop, and it was like, oh my God, there's a tremendous amount of uncomfortableness. And that uncomfortableness is really, whenever that shows up, would you be willing to ask, hey, is this uncomfortableness the invitation to all the possibilities, doors, and windows that can open if I choose? That was a mouthful. Did you get it? Okay, hopefully. I hope you did. Right. So, great question. I'm going to just kind of like cut over to Gab's question about clarity. Clarity means something's well-defined. And if you're really looking for something well-defined, then you can only have that one path, that narrow kind of thing. So it's kind of like this word that's double-edged sword. If you're asking for clarity, start asking for it and see what happens. And you may find that your bag fell over. You may find that different choices will pop up around clarity so you can know what you know, and it can expand your world out around beyond clarity. Would you be willing to have something beyond clarity? And what would that be like? You're not going to find out unless you ask for it, do something. And that may mean, what would it be like to be beyond clarity? And then listen to your body. Maybe your body says, ice cream. I'd like some ice cream. I'm just, as an example, it's happened to me, believe me. And go with it and choose that thing that actually is generated by your question of what can I have, do, be, perceive around X, Y, and Z. Okay. Nydia Garcia. Hola, Matt. That is a question. I can feel it. She's like saying hi. I was like, oh, wow, that's really nice. And I'm like, okay, I'll ask another question. We'll do some more question and choice stuff. If I say hi back to Nydia, what does it create? Okay, it's an interesting energy, right? Okay, so I'm going to choose that, and I'm going to go, hi, Nydia. I didn't quite spell right. Nidia. How you be? Okay, so does everybody follow the energy? Something just occurred there. Energy started to do some of this in your reality. Okay, that's so great when people say hi. And hi, Mary Hassett, too. Hi. Right. So would you be willing to have that level of just ease and just know these are the tools to help you know what you know? This is what Access Conscious is as a modality of change. You don't have to change your whole life. You don't have to give up your day job. even if you want to. You're going to just take this energy like frosting and apply it to the cake that you already made of your life and see if it gets better. What would it create? If I take some of these tools and I apply them to my cake, even if it's a shit cake, apply them on top and see what happens. It might magically change your shit into something else. And then you don't have to clean all your closets before you choose something else. You can just put on the anti-shit cake frosting and go. Yeah. Sally Francis, cool, examining this at the moment. Yeah. So, and examining, that's great. I love all these little comments. So if you examine things. So when things come up, just ask another question too. And it's like, what would this create? Now, these other things that I'm looking at is like, as we're looking at choice and creation, is what's going on in the world is something that's been going on for me as a question. I'm like, do I need to actually change the way I be with my questions to acknowledge even more of what's going on in the world so I can start contributing more to it? You know, how many of us have stopped contributing because we've decided we're not going to contribute anything to the world until the world starts contributing to us, or some vacillation of that? Okay. If anything like that is going on, what if you use the clearing statement, www.theclearingstatement.com for any newbies out there, and cleared all the stuff in the background that you're using to not create a new foreground? Okay. Good, bad, right or wrong, POC and POD, all 9 shorts, boys, and beyonds. Awesome. Okay, any other questions on question, choice, and definition? Definition. What you define becomes the limitation of your life. Definition equals limitation. I know it's weird, but it's true. Because if you don't have a definition, question, ask a choice, ask a question, make a choice, acknowledge what you need to choose, and as you choose it, if you're willing to not make it a let it just be for today or a few minutes choice, so that you can give it the space to morph and change and turn into something greater. Otherwise, it only turns into what you defined it as. Awesome, folks. Any other questions? How would your life be if you ask a question today and chose infinitely? Oh, yeah, and last piece. If anybody would like to contribute to me, I would love to have your contributions. I need another 400 subscribers on my YouTube channel so I can start posting my classes on there, make it easier for you guys. So if you'd like to, there's a little subscribe button in the bottom right corner. Wow, that's a big finger. And if you click that, it will add you to my subscribe list. That would be super awesome. So just another choice. Ask a question. What would this create for me? Acknowledge the energies. Light, heavy, wonky, whatever. Okay? Love you guys all. If anything in this video actually contributes to your reality and you apply it to your life right away, what will that create in your future? See you guys. Bye.